Well, good morning. It's about 8 o'clock, and we are leaving from New Buffalo, Michigan, and we are headed to Hammond, Indiana. The Hammond Marina that we stayed at last time with the flotilla and waited out the windstorm and the whole deal. So, Scott and Dreamer are still dealing with their smoky engine situation. They did have a tech come down last night, sort of hooked up the computer, and there's no errors. So good news is he's probably okay to run, but it's getting pretty smoky and it's bugging him, and he just wants it fixed. And I know the feeling probably better than anyone. So we're heading down to Hammond, and he's got another Yanmar tech lined up to meet us there. Kathy and I are going to decide. We'll probably stay in Hammond tonight, but we might head over to Navy Pier for the weekend, because Scott and Lauren will go back to Detroit for the weekend to work on the Detroit Princess. And instead of waiting in Hammond and having flashbacks to our first loop and the Flotillas, we might head over to Navy Pier and spend the weekend under the skyline of Chicago and see what that's like. But we're all kind of making plans as we go, because Scott is trying to line up techs to sort out his timing issue or whatever's creating the smoke. We are also trying to sort out some electronics techs to help us clear this code that must be stuck in our vessel view that is limiting our wide open throttle. It's not impeding us from running. Andromeda's been running great, but we're starting down that path also. So that's the plan. We're going to pull out of here probably in about a half hour. It's a beautiful, clear morning. The lake is supposed to be flat today, and we only have about a 4-hour run over to Hammond. So we're going to get the dogs walked, get everybody settled, get the engines warmed up, and head on over to Hammond. Should be a nice run this morning. Got the lines ready?
I think so.
the dock and out of the harbor. The New Buffalo Channel is a little swirly, kind of shoals around the point to the starboard side as you're leaving, or the port side as you're entering. You almost have to go in towards land and curl back into it, but little wishy-washy, especially on a small channel. But we are out here now, and compared to the last 2 days, Lake Michigan is pretty flat. So we've got her locked on Hammond, the first marina we went to when we left on our last loop. So Dreamer's behind us. We're at about 9 knots and about 3.5 hours to go. So we might pick it up here a little bit. He wants to get there, Dreamer wants to get there sooner. And we think after a couple days of running, we want to test our wide open throttle again. So we'll see what happens here, but we're going to enjoy this beautiful sunny morning and these calm seas. We are trying wide open throttle. We're only getting 2040, so we're still not achieving the 2300 that the engines are rated for. We are getting 22 knots, 23 knots out of it. But we're kind of hoping that maybe after some time on the water it would reset. So we're at 2050, 2040, and still working on the wide open throttle. We have bumped it up to 16 knots. Scott and Dreamer want to burn some of their fuel they have through their tank, trying to solve their smoking problem. And off our starboard bow, it's a little hard to see with any of our cameras, but we can see the skyline of Chicago. We're about an hour and a half out of Hammond. Seas are a little sporty coming at us from the port stern, but only like 1 footers, maybe 2 footers, but I can feel them building up. So we got her locked on Hammond. We can see Chicago, and we're hoping to get in there and get tied up, mainly so Scott and Dreamer can get a tech or somebody down to check out his engines and maybe solve the smokiness. I'm going to start making some calls to our friend Clint down in Orange Beach. He is the marine electrician I trust the most, and it's been helpful not only in Orange Beach but even on the phone since I've been home, and see if he can get this vessel view issue or whatever with our wide open throttle cleared up. So Chicago off the bow, you're starting to see land down by Hammond, and I can start to feel the lake picking up. So we're going to keep on trucking at 16 knots. How you doing, Holly? It's a little bumpy.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
No, he's better now. He did get nervous though when we first took off. He was actually more nervous than normal. I think he probably now knows the rhythm. But he's doing good.
That is Michigan City, Indiana behind me. It's funny because the angle we're going on, that is Indiana directly off our starboard, but we are not yet in Indiana. We will cross into Indiana a few miles ahead of us, so it's kind of weird geographically how it lays out, but we are directly west of Michigan City, Indiana right now. about exactly 1 hour out of New Buffalo. We got about an hour and 10 minutes to Hammond, and we just officially crossed into Indiana. I was waiting to see if the clocks changed on our phones or anything, but we haven't switched over yet. But all 3 navigation instruments, the Raymarine chart plotter, Navionics, Google Earth on my phone show that we just crossed the border into Indiana. It's a little different than like a car vacation or a car trip when we were kids, and you wait for the big sign on the freeway to say, "Welcome to Indiana." It's not like that out here. You got to kind of watch the charts. If we weren't watching, we would have had no idea. But we are officially in a new state. We're in Indiana, and about an hour and 10 from the dock. We're about 30 minutes out of Hammond. We can see the casino up ahead of us. It's also kind of cool. I can see that metal structure that's the entrance to the CalSag where we left Lake Michigan on our first loop. And we have Gary, Indiana off to the port. East Chicago with all the industry is kind of off our port bow. And the lake is a little twisty. It seems like it's a northeast wind. It's hard to tell exactly, but we're taking some spray over the bow and we're just getting twisted around in the waves. So last little stretch of Lake Michigan, it's not really beating us up, but it's not as comfortable as we like. So it's sort of twisting us around, but we're 30 minutes out, we're getting close. We're about 15 minutes from Hammond. We can see the casino, we can see the entrance to the CalSag. East Chicago's off of our port, and it is a little twisty. It seems like we got just inside of East Chicago here, calmed down maybe just a little bit. We have this east wind gonna push us into the dock. We're on a starboard tie, so that might be okay, but Andromeda is only so strong against a sideways wind. And we are on our own for docking. Hammond, Indiana, or Hammond Marina is so big, they don't send anybody out to catch us. So we're gonna try and get in there as slow as we can and grab the dock and get tied off, and we'll probably run down a few slips and help Dreamer get in, and then we'll tie off and power up. But it seems like maybe down here at the very bottom of the lake, it's calming down just a little bit, which is a good thing. We are safely tied up in Hammond Marina, probably my least favorite spot of the entire trip. And it's just as I remember it. The docks are in terrible shape. The staff was rude, and uninformative. We are out here on the very end, bouncing around. At least Dreamer's right next to us, so we'll suffer through it together. But this is a convenient stop to get in the Cal-Sag or to get in the river system, but this place sucks. I don't know how else to describe it. What are you doing there?
Get my balls out.
What do you guys think?
Wow. I kind of forgot about Hammond.
It hasn't improved at all, has it?
No, it's just there. I mean, the floating docks will be easier to get ollie off, but it's just forget how exposed you are and how, you know, right now we're just kind of rocking. We're on the end, and
How was the staff? Super helpful?
I don't want to slam them, but I mean, I forgot that there's not even a chance they'll catch your lines, and how dare I ask?
So we're out here on the end, and once again, the people at the office have no clue what's going on out here. They gave Dreamer slip W31, and the only problem with that slip is it just doesn't exist. So that was awfully tough for him to find a slip, so they gave him a new slip here at W25, which is cool because he's our neighbor. But I don't know how you can tell somebody to pull into W31 and not even have a slip 31. It's kind of ridiculous.
Especially at the end of the season. Especially at the end of the season. Like, you would think if maybe spring, new staff, they might not know.
If the dock broke or something, but how can you just not know? So this, we think, is slip 31. And of course, there's no dock. We don't know if the dock is down in the water or out in Lake Michigan, but poor Scott was trying to hold her still in the wind, and this was his slip, which is not a slip. So it all worked out. He ended up docking right next to us, and that's cool. But you can see these boats bouncing around, and that's because we have an east wind blowing right in this channel. Hopefully as that wind flips around, it'll settle down in here a little bit more. But here we are. He's got some engine techs coming. I'm gonna settle in and get a little work done. And not sure what he's doing, but we are probably out of here in the morning just because I think we can do better. What are you doing?
Setting the ball free.
Hitting your balls out?
Balls out. For Hammond.
We are back in Hammond, Indiana, and kind of back in the looper schedule. It's like 8:05 local time. It's like 9:05 at home, but we're already tired and having quote unquote looper midnight. It feels like it's 1 in the morning.
Right.
We had a wonderful night on the dock. We had dinner with Scott and Lauren and Sully. Scott cooked us up some tenderloins. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And just to sit on the boat and talk and chat. And we went and met some new friends. We met
Bobbing along.
They had us down for dock tales on Bobbing Along. Ollie must not want to be on camera right now. And but anyway, so we're settling in on the boat. Kathy and I have decided to move on to Navy Pier tomorrow. So we remember our experience in Hammond, Indiana from before. There's not a lot to do here. It is a good place to tie up before the rivers, but there's just not much to do. And we are waiting for 3 days while Dreamer parks the boat, goes back to Detroit for a few days for work, and then comes back down. So today is Thursday. Tomorrow will be Friday. We won't be getting into the rivers till Monday. So for 3 days, we thought we were going to treat ourselves and go down and stay at Navy Pier. It's our anniversary weekend.
Yeah, 28 years.
28 years. So we thought we'd go spend the weekend down at Navy Pier, and been getting great reviews. There's restaurants and museums and parks and stuff for the dog to do, and be right underneath the skyline. So that'll be kind of exciting for us. So we're going to get up, make sure Dreamer and everybody's settled. We're going to fuel up and head over sometime tomorrow morning to Navy Pier, and we're going to watch the waves and stuff. But it is only like it's a 14-mile run. So we're just going to watch the wind and the waves and try and get over there early and enjoy as much as we can. But we're in Hammond. This is the end of day 3, and it feels pretty good.
Yes.
We would like to say a very special thank you to our Captain's Table patron, Tom M. And as always, a huge thank you to all our patrons. We couldn't do this without you.